when it is acting as an endocrine gland, the secretions don't pass through ducts. It is directly poured into the bloodstream. Rise in the level of glucose in the blood, which is called hyperglycemia. And the germ cells will produce the sperms, whereas the Sertoli cells will provide nourishment, that is growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness and low pitch voice. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 7 of chapter 22 called Chemical Coordination and Integration. Myself B. Shobha Rani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in the last session, we started off with a study of a very important endocrine gland called pancreas. We all have studied that pancreas is a double gland or a heterocrine gland which acts both as an endocrine as well as an exocrine gland. And we also studied about how the important hormones that are produced by the endocrine part of pancreas called the islets of Langerhans. As we all know that the islets of Langerhans produces two types of cells, that is the islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans produces two types of cells. One is called alpha cells, the other one is called the beta cells. Alpha cells produces a hormone called glucagon and beta cells produces a hormone called insulin. Right? See how important these two hormones are. The exocrine part of pancreas is called acini cells. Acini cells which produces the pancreatic juice. The pancreatic. So here you can see the pancreatic duct. When it is acting as an endocrine gland, the secretions don't pass through ducts. It is directly poured into the bloodstream. Whereas the pancreatic juice is carried through the pancreatic duct and it goes and pours into the common, that is into the bile duct. And bile duct, we know it is a common duct for the bile juice as well as for the pancreatic juice. So that is about the exocrine part of pancreas, which has a great role to play in the digestion of the food. Now, let us understand about this very important hormone called glucagon in this session. So, what are we going to study in today's session? We are going to study about the role of glucagon. So, glucagon is a hormone which is produced by the alpha cells of islets of Langerhans. As we all know that the endocrine part of pancreas is called islets of Langerhans, which produces alpha and beta. Alpha cells produces a hormone called glucagon. Beta cells produces a hormone called insulin. Now, role of glucagon. As we all know that usually the blood glucose level is maintained inside our body. As we all know that there is a very important mechanism going on inside our body called homeostasis. Homeostasis is nothing but maintenance of internal environment. So when glucose level is dropped or the level of glucose is very less in the blood, immediately the glucagon is released by the alpha cells of islets of Langerhans. And this glucagon will convert the stored food, that is glycogen in the liver, back into glucose, thereby bringing the glucose level to normalcy in the blood. So it is very, very important, particularly when there is a condition called hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia. What do you mean by hypoglycemia? Less glucose level in the blood. Hyperglycemia, when the level of glucose is very high in the blood, then insulin will come to the rescue. See how it is maintaining the balance, the glucose balance by counteracting against each other. So glucagon is a polypeptide hormone. As we all know, most of the hormones are proteinaceous in nature, but all proteins are not hormones. Maintain normal blood glucose level. So it is very important in maintaining normal glucose. Stimulates glycogenolysis in hepatic cells, resulting in increased blood sugar level called hyperglycemia. It leads to when there is hypoglycemia, it will help to form hyperglycemia. Then whereas in this one, insulin will help in hypoglycemia. Now, stimulates glycogenolysis. What is glycogenolysis? Convert glycogen that is stored in liver cells into glucose is called glycogenolysis. So, stimulates glycogenolysis in hepatic cells, resulting increased blood sugar level called hyperglycemia. Stimulates gluconeogenesis. Also stimulates gluconeogenesis, that is helps in metabolism of fat and proteins into glucose, that is called gluconeogenesis. So reduce cellular glucose uptake and utilization. In general, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone. So it will raise the level of glucose in the blood when the level of glucose drops. Not normally, when it is high, it will not make it high. So only when glucose level is less, then it will make it high. Hence it is called as hyperglycemic hormone. So what is the role of glucagon? Glucagon is one such hormone which is produced by the alpha cells of the endocrine part of pancreas called islets of Langerhans. So glucagon is a polypeptide hormone, a proteinaceous hormone. Maintain normal blood glucose level. Then stimulates glycogenolysis in hepatic cells. As we all know that glucose is converted into glycogen and it is stored in the liver. So it will, when the glucose level drops, helps the hepatic cells of the liver to convert back glycogen into glucose, and that is called the glycogenolysis. So resulting in increased blood sugar level called hyperglycemia. Stimulates gluconeogenesis, also helps in stimulating fat and protein metabolism into glucose. Then reduce cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Then in general, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone. Now let us understand the role of insulin. All of you know that there is one very important disorder caused when the pancreas is not functioning properly called diabetes mellitus. You have understood about diabetes insipidus, that is vasopressin is very important hormone. When the hyposecretion of vasopressin is caused, then it will lead to water, that is diabetes insipidus, or otherwise called water diet. So don't get confused with diabetes mellitus with that of diabetes insipidus children, right? So diabetes kannadadalli helbekandre sakkare kaile anta helತೀವಿ, sugar. So I think you might have come across people taking insulin hormone. So the diabetes mellitus, you know, there are diabetes mellitus is of two types. One is called insulin dependent and insulin non-dependent. Insulin non. What do you mean by insulin dependent? So there are diabetic people who where their glucose level cannot be controlled without intake of insulin hormone. And there are the second type. So it is called as type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Right. In case of type 2 insulin non-dependent, not necessary that they have to take insulin. They can control their glucose level in the blood by maintenance of proper food habits, like through food only or through exercises, through walking, yoga. They can control their glucose level in the blood. So insulin is a very, very important hormone produced by the beta cells of islets of Langerhans. Beta cells of islets of Langerhans. So as I said, when the glucose level drops, glucagon comes into the picture, converts glycogen back into glucose and maintains the glucose level balance. What will happen if your glucose level is very high in the blood? Glucagon will not come because it will lead to hyperglycemia. Already it is hyperglycemic and again it will be more hyper. So it will not come into rescue. Who will come into rescue? That is insulin. Insulin is produced by the beta cells of islets of lung. So this insulin will convert back glucose into glycogen which is stored in the hepatic cells of the liver. See how oppositely it is working. Glucagon will raise the glucose level, whereas the insulin will drop the glucose level in the blood. So both are having antagonistic properties, we can say. So insulin is again a peptide hormone. As I said, most of the hormones are proteinaceous in nature. So it is a peptide. Peptide means protein. And regulate blood glucose homeostasis. I said no. internal environment is very important. No, everything is involuntary. It is not under our control. So everything is brought back to normalcy on its own through coordination. That is what we say. Chemical coordination and integration is the name of this chapter. See, there is coordination and integration between the organisms, and they complement the functions of each other. See how important this mechanism is for our body, for the human body. So regulate blood glucose homeostasis. What do you mean by blood glucose homeostasis? Maintenance of glucose level in the blood. Then insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes. Adipocytes are fat cells which stores what? Glycogen. Hepatocytes also store glycogen. So what will this insulin do? It will convert glycogen back into glucose. It will convert glucose back into glycogen. So insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes. So enhance cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Here it stimulates rapid, there it is going to reduce cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Here it is going to enhance cellular glucose uptake and utilization. So stimulates rapid movement of glucose from blood to hepatocytes and adipocytes, resulting decrease in blood glucose level. So it is leading to hypoglycemia. So whereas glucagon is called as a hyperglycemic factor. Hyperglycemic factor, whereas insulin is a hypoglycemic factor. So stimulates conversion of glucose into glycogen called glycogenesis. Genolysis there. It will, whereas glucagon converts glycogen into glucose. Here it converts glucose back into glycogen. So already glucose level is very high in the blood. So it needs to reduce the glucose level in the blood. How is it doing? It is converting most of the glucose back into glycogen, which is stored in the hepatic cells of the liver. So stimulates conversion of glucose into glycogen called glycogenesis. So stimulates synthesis of fat from glucose called lipogenesis. See how important this endocrine gland called pancreas. So pancreas is a very, very important endocrine gland as well as exocrine. Imagine if pancreatic juice from pancreas is not released into the gallbladder and from there on to the first part of small intestine called duodenum. Imagine the process of digestion of proteins and the fat as well as even the carbohydrate would not have been made possible. So pancreatic juice has a great role to play, particularly in protein digestion. So imagine and in a similar way, the endocrine part of pancreas called islets of Langerhans produces two types of cells, alpha and beta cell. Alpha cells produces glucagon, which is called as a hyperglycemic factor, which converts glycogen back into glucose and raises the glucose level in the blood. Whereas insulin is called as a hypoglycemic factor, which reduces glucose back into glycogen, reduces the glucose level. Glucagon rises up the glucose level, and whereas insulin will reduce the glucose level in the blood and acts as a hypoglycemic factor. So insulin, a peptide hormone, regulate blood glucose homeostasis. Insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes, enhance cellular glucose uptake and utilization, stimulates rapid movement of glucose from blood to hepatocytes and adipocytes, resulting decrease in blood glucose level leading to hypoglycemia, stimulates conversion of glucose into glycogen called glycogenesis, stimulates synthesis of fat from glucose called lipogenesis. Then diabetes mellitus. As I said, you might have heard about diabetes mellitus. You know, maximum number of people in the society are suffering from this diabetes mellitus. What might be the reason? Many people we see that, you know, they are undergoing this disorder called diabetes. Why this has become to such a increased level? Maybe because of the food habits or maybe because of the lifestyle. All these are the added factors for the rise in the people having more of the diabetes mellitus, right? So commonly we use the word called sugar. ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So this is mainly because, you know, when the pancreas is not functioning properly, particularly when particularly the beta cells of the islets of Langerhans fail to produce insulin, and this insulin will not, so there will be no insulin to regulate or control the glucose level in the blood, leading to the higher level of glucose in the blood, right? So this is again a very serious disorder, because if continued diabetes may also affect the other organs, right? So now let us understand about this diabetes mellitus. As I said, diabetic patients are of two types. One called type 1 and type 2. Type 1 are called insulin dependent, and type 2 are called non-insulin dependent. So type 1 people called insulin dependent, they have to take insulin hormone. The pancreas completely fail to release insulin, which will control the glucose level in the blood. So automatically they have to take insulin. And now science and technology, particularly in the field of medicine, has advanced with a good number of medicines. Like there is one called Humulin. You know, previously, you know, the insulin from the pig's pancreas was extracted and was marketed, but now Humulin is there. So now more of Humulin is used in the used by many people to control their glucose level of blood in the blood. So caused due to hyposecretion of insulin. Hypo means what? Less secretion of insulin. Less secretion of insulin. So less secretion of insulin is called hyposecretion. So prolonged hyperglycemia. What do you mean by hyperglycemia? High level of glucose in the blood. What do you mean by high level? So when insulin is not produced in because insulin will control the glucose level. How does it control? It converts glucose back into glycogen. So when insulin is not produced, when there is hyposecretion of insulin, automatically there is a high level of rise in the level of glucose in the blood, which is called hyperglycemia, right? So associated with glycosuria, you might have come across people having diabetes go for frequent urination and also excretion of glucose in urine. So excretion of glucose because excess of glucose is in the blood, so which is also eliminated through urine. So excretion of glucose in urine is called glycosuria. Then hyperglycemia leads to formation of ketone bodies. So hyperglycemia will lead to formation of more of ketone bodies, and diabetic patients are treated with insulin therapy. So the last resort is what? Go for insulin dependent. So when the pancreas fails to produce sufficient insulin, so automatically there is hyperglycemia, and which cannot be controlled, then automatically they have to be kept on insulin injection. So diabetes mellitus, as I said, it is a very important disorder caused due to the hyposecretion of insulin when pancreas, the islets of Langerhans and the beta cells of islets of Langerhans of pancreas, the endocrine part of pancreas, fails to produce insulin, then it will lead to diabetes mellitus, which is a very common disorder. We don't call it as a disease, we can call it as a disorder. And now it is of higher rise in people, and even we have come across even the youngsters having this disorder. And as I said, it may be due to and usually it is heredity, so it is passed on from the parents to the children also. So in that case also it is like automatically it is heredity. So that is also one reason why many people are suffering from diabetes, or maybe the food habits, or maybe the lifestyle. All these are the factors which are the reasons for the cause of diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is of two types, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 is called insulin dependent. Type 2 is called non-insulin dependent. So type 1 insulin dependent, they have to take insulin injection to control their glucose level in the blood. Type 2 need not take insulin injection or insulin therapy to get rid of this diabetes. Instead, they can regulate the glucose level in the blood by food habits, by proper food intake, then proper exercises, yoga, meditation. All those are the factors which may also reduce diabetes. Best part of it is a morning walk. So continuous, rigorous, fast walking will also reduce the diabetes. Reduce the diabetic level. So diabetes mellitus, it is caused due to hyposecretion of insulin, prolonged hyperglycemia associated with glycosuria. What is glycosuria? Excretion of glucose in the urine. Then hyperglycemia leads to formation of ketone bodies. So as we know, after effects of this increase in diabetes will have a lot of effects on the body and even other organs. As they say that continued prolonged diabetes may also lead to kidney disorder. Then it may also affect the heart also. So diabetic patients are treated with insulin therapy. Then moving on to a next very important endocrine gland called testis. As we know, testis is the male primary sex organ. Primary sex organ, and there are Leydig cells. So a pair of, as we all know, a pair of testes is found in the scrotal sacs of the male. So as we know, the testes are found extra-abdominal, found in the scrotal sacs, as the scrotal sacs maintain less temperature than the body temperature to help in spermatogenesis. So testis is a very, very important. Here you can see in the beautiful picture the testis, so pair of testes found in the abdominal cavity, and here you can see the ducts. So blood supply duct, that is epididymis and vas deferens. So vas deferens is a pipe-like structure which carries the sperms. So testis produces the male gametes called the sperms, right? And also as we all have studied that each testis is made up of around 250 chambers called testicular lobules, and each lobule is lined by highly coiled structures called seminiferous tubules, and the wall of seminiferous tubules produces two types of cells. One is called the germ cells and the other one is called the Sertoli cells. And the germ cells will produce the sperms, whereas the Sertoli cells will provide nourishment for the sperms, for the germ cells, right? And the interstitial space, the space between the seminiferous tubules is called interstitial space. And there are cells called interstitial cells. And these interstitial cells are also called as the Leydig cells. And this Leydig cells produces a very important hormone called androgen, or we use a word called testosterone, which is a male hormone. And this male hormone is very important for spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? Process of formation of sperms, and also for the males to attain puberty, and also for the development of male secondary sexual characters. So a pair of testes is present in the scrotal sacs of male. Leydig cells or interstitial cells are located in the intertubular spaces of seminiferous tubules. So these cells secrete a group of steroid called androgens, mainly testosterone, which is responsible for male secondary sexual characters. See how important even testis is. It also produces a very important hormone called androgen or testosterone, which is very important for the production of the male gamete called sperm, and also for the male, that is for the male to attain puberty to produce the sperms, and also for the process of formation of male secondary sexual characters. See, all these are the very important endocrine glands. So functions of testosterone. Now let us understand the functions of the testosterone. So as I said, testosterone is nothing but a male hormone. So what are the important functions of testosterone? Regulates the development, maturation and functioning of male accessory sex organs like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles and the prostate glands. etc. Stimulates muscular growth. As we all know, even in males, the muscular growth is also because of this very important hormone called testosterone, and plays a major role in spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? Process of sperm formation. Process of sperm formation is called spermatogenesis. Then acts on central nervous system and influence the male sexual behavior. So even the male sexual behavior also is controlled by this testosterone. Then stimulate development of secondary sexual characters, like what? Like the process of formation of mustache, right, and the beard. All that is because of the development of the secondary sexual character. That is growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, and low pitch voice. All these are the functions of the male hormone called testosterone. So regulate development, maturation and functioning of male accessory sex organs like rated testes, vas deferens, epididymis. All those are called as then the seminal vesicles, prostate gland. Then one more called bulbourethral gland or a Cowper's gland. So regulate development, maturation and functioning of male accessory sex organs like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles and process. Stimulates muscular growth, plays a major role in spermatogenesis, acts on central nervous system and influence the male sexual behavior called libido. Stimulate development of secondary sexual characters, growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness and low pitch voice. Hope you all have understood the very important endocrine gland, that is about the pancreas and the role of glucagon and the role of insulin in carrying on various functions in regulating the glucose level in the blood. And we also studied about a very important endocrine gland, that is testis, which produces a very important hormone called the testosterone, and the role of, we have studied about the role of testosterone. So in the coming session, we will discuss about the remaining endocrine glands. Till then, goodbye and thank you.